Hello and welcome back. School come to an end for today. I can't read. I look out over the sorry. I look out over the schoolyard from my seat, unable to will myself back to the mansion. The classroom dyed a red orange by the sunlight, looked like a watercolor painting, and make my eyes drop a little. There's something about vermilion that's unsettling. As the hue pierces my eyes, I'm hit with a wave of nausea. I guess I have trouble with anything that reminds me of blood. The reality is I've grown weak to it. Seven years ago, I was on the verge of death. I was caught in a terrible accident, a building collapse. My wounds were so severe that most people thought I didn't have a chance. Luckily for me, all my injuries were focused in one place, and my doctors were able to get to me fast. Okay, I read it right the first time. It's almost like it happened to someone else. Think it back like this. There's a lot I still don't know about it. Something struck my chest with such force that it impaled me. I passed out immediately, like a machine that had it plug pulled. All I remember after that is the pain and cold. When I woke up, I was in the hospital bed. Okay, so here's another change. In the original game, Shiki was told that he was hit by a car or like a bus. Here they're saying a building fell on him, which I feel the latter. I feel like the building. Yeah, the building is more believable for the type of scar he has, but it's less believable that just an entire building like happened to fall on him just so happened to happen. The scar still remains on my chest. And also, like, if a building fell on him, wouldn't there be like reports of it? It's weird. It's a weird addition, I say. I feel like he will look up if a building fell at the date of when he was sold. But yeah. Versus the car, which is like, hey, car accident happens all the time. So like it's obviously a easy thing to believe. One day told me I'm not only hit my back hard, but a piece of glass pierced my chest as well. That's how I got burns like scars on my chest and back. That does not explain that at all. How the frick do you know what? When I was finally able to look at the wounds, I almost passed out from the sight of them. Ever since then, I've been prone to bouts of anemia. I caused a lot of trouble for people around me, collapsing suddenly all the time. I assume that's why Makihisa Tohno, my father, decided that I wasn't healthy enough to be his heir. My chest. I hold down the urge to vomit. I breathe deeply, waiting for the needling in my eyes to subside. A mark of death hidden under my school uniform. I've been able to see this line ever since the accident. And only thanks to the glasses Master gave me that I kept some semblance of a normal life. Without them, I'm sure I would have gone mad a long time ago. Kiko was worried that the Tohnos weren't normal when we said goodbye this morning. But there was no need. The reason being, I'm hardly normal myself. I pushed my glasses back up the bridges of my nose and grabbed my bag. I can't stay in the classroom forever. I wander around school, go back to the manor. We're going to have to go back to this manor anyway, so let's wander around school. I'll kill a little time. There's no need to hurry. Nothing going to change just because I was a couple minutes earlier. We're just catching the sights, I guess. I walk around the school with no particular destination in mind. The building and the schoolyard are completely devoted to students. It's nice not having to see anyone I know, but something feels very wrong seeing a usually lively place so empty. That reminds me, a memory from middle school comes to mind as I look over the empty grounds. It was a winter day, one that looked like snow might fall at any moment. I was crossing through the empty schoolyard on my way home. I heard a noise from the storehouse that any person would assume was empty. When I went to see what it was, hi there, are you a second year? Oh, okay. Sorry, but would you mind keeping off the premises after hours? The reproach comes from an older student I've never seen before. I seem to have wandered onto the grounds without realizing it. Sorry, I was just going for a walk. I'll be more careful. I apologize and start to leave the grounds. Are you not going home? No, I'll head home now. Sorry to worry you. I give a quick bow to the student and leave the schoolyard. He's cute. I wonder why they give a random female student a portrait, but it's whatever. That was probably the push I needed. Stay any longer and I'll just be trespassing. I return to the classroom and grab my bag. It's time to go back to my real home. Okay. So, in the original game, the only way Shiki remembers that flashback about the schoolyard is when talking to Yumizuka on his way back home. But we didn't end up going that route. I mean, we didn't see Yumizuka or have her talk about it. In fact, she's the one who infers it to happen. Shiki doesn't really remember until, she tells the whole story again. My path home is different from the one I took yesterday. It led me from a compact middle-class neighborhood to one where large, expensive houses line the streets. Every step brings me closer to the Tohno mansion. The area isn't completely unfamiliar to me. It may have been 7 years ago, but I have vague memories of this place from when I was 10. It's a strange feeling. This path feels both new and familiar at the same time. I climb up a long hill. The row of houses disappear from view. The smell of greenery tickles my nose. I may be in the middle of the city, but this place feels anything but modern. Almost everything from here is owned by the Tohno estate, the mansion I live in until the age of 10. The only thing left for me there are old memories and relatives I never got along with. Though now only one close relative remains in that mansion. Makihisa Tohno, the father that hated me so much, passed away the other day. My mother died from an illness the year before Akihisa was born, so the only Tohno left will be my sister and I. As the eldest son, I would have taken over the head of the family, but I no longer have that right. Being a Tohno heir means a restricted, cloistered childhood. I don't know how many times I was told off by my father for trying to escape all that. That's why when I was left defective after my accident, he took the opportunity to cast me out. I'm sure he felt that even though I was the eldest, he couldn't leave the family in the hands of someone who could kneel over dead any moment. To my father's surprise, I recovered, but Akihisa had already been chosen as the next heir of the Tohno family. He's very much implied that Makihisa disowned him as soon as he got into the hospital. Akihisa has been raised as a prize daughter of the Tohno, but after my accident, she had to endure a harsher education befitting her new stature. We played together in the garden until I was 10, but I hadn't seen her once since then. And now it's been 7 years. I wonder how the Tohno mansion has changed. I won't have to wonder for much longer. If anything should come to mind now, it would be... Okay, good. So I was wondering if we were going to do that. Someone else I played with as a kid. So interesting thing is while Shiki does mention um like how he feels bad about leaving behind Akiha, um he always in the original would say like his bigger concern, like the bigger reason why he was returned to the mansion was not because he was concerned about Akiha's condition, but more so he was more concerned about fulfilling a promise. There was actually quite a few people in the mansion other than Makihisa and Akiha. A number of relatives occupied the main building. The servants, on the other hand, stayed in a separate one. They're vague, but I do have memories of playing with children other than just Akiha. I seem to recall no, I just can't quite remember. A lot of people came in and out of the mansion back then. According to Kiko, Makihisa was trying to aggressively expand the business at the time. She said it was busy back then, that it would be stranger if I did remember everyone. But right now, I guess the old man comes first. Memories of my father spring to mind, though I don't recall us doing anything together. Makihisa was a strict father. He was quiet, rarely showing much emotion. Do not leave the house, do not go into town. Always remember that people are born into their status, and those while our noble blood are inferior stock. Such was the ethos of Makihisa, the Tohno family at large. I rebelled against those principles. I felt my father teachers were wrong. It wasn't from any fault in his logic, though. He just couldn't convince me that his beliefs were right. It seemed strange, but they felt behind the times even as a child. I wasn't the only one who disagreed with Makihisa, but I was the only one who did it to his face. As a result, I often left the manor in contempt of his rules, which ultimately led me to my accident. The world lies beyond the manor, is unsightly place, is a hemlock of the mind. How ironic. In the end, my father was right about that in a way. After waking up in the hospital, he never came to visit me, not even once. My last memory of him is the day I was discharged from the hospital, the day he commanded me to stay with the Arimas. Now he's gone. Not seeing my father before he died doesn't particularly bother me. That must speak volumes about our relationship. The main gate is shut tight. I remember thinking it was big when I was a child, but after living in a normal house, I realized just how massive this place is. The mansion sits on a high hill overlooking the city, giving the Tohnos a view of all they control. The ground alone are bigger than my high school, including the forest behind the manor. It easily tripled the size. Surrounding the perimeter is a wall of trees and a long fence preventing outsiders from peering inside. The entrance at the gate is closed, turning away those who would seek entrance. Next to the mansion gate is for cars to pass through. There's a smaller door for people. I hesitate for a moment before pressing the call button. It doesn't make any noise as I push it. After a few seconds, the lock opened with a welcoming click. This door is automatic now. I remember a guard used to stand here. I opened the heavy door and passed through the stone gates. The door gave a satisfying clunk behind me, locking itself again. I make my way gently a slop path deeper into the grounds. The walkway surrounded by tall trees feel almost like a tunnel. It stretched 40 meters east, then turned into a 90 degrees angle to the north. Memories flowed back with each step. I know this path. I walked it many times. Just a little further. I reach the corner and my feet guide me towards the north the rest of my body following closely behind. Then on the left. The Tohno mansion, a great white wall standing at attentions. A sigh escaped my lips in a combination of wonder and resignation. The mansion looked just like it did back then. According to my father, the building had been the same since my grandfather inherited it from his grandfather, though it was repaired once after the war. For the past century, it's been a seat of power passed from one generation to the next. This is the holy ground for Makihisa, no, for those related to the Tohnos. I remember seeing different adults vying for a piece of it, currying favors with the old man while staying at the mansion for yearly family meetings. They were all extremely successful business people with their own fancy home, but for whatever reason, they were obsessed with the Tohno Manor. Getting to live there... One second. Sorry about that. Got interrupted. Hopefully that doesn't keep happening. Getting to live there must have been a point of pride for them. It all sounds ridiculous. It's just a big fancy house to me. I've never been comfortable with being privileged. Guess it's time. There's no going back now. A small doorbell is placed next to the comparatively huge double doors. I shake off my nerves and ring the bell. There's no familiar ding-dong. The heavy silence continued for a few seconds. The sound of hurried footsteps come from the other side of the door. We've been eagerly awaiting your return. The doors swing open with a surprisingly ease for their size. This looks like a freaking the Aozaki Manor. I narrow my eyes down at the waning afternoon light streaming through the window. I had meant to prepare myself for the sight, but my breath catches as I look over the gigantic lobby. What astonishingly beautiful architect. It feels like I traveled to a different country in a different time. The look of the mansion is so old-fashioned, even the very air itself seems foreign. Even so, the lobby still feels familiar. Hey, Kawaku! I find myself frozen at the girl who answered the door, standing before me, dressed in traditional attire. Thank goodness, it's so late. I was worried that you gotten lost. I was going to go look for you if you hadn't arrived by sunset. The girl wearing an apron over her kimono smiled brightly. Oh, I find myself speechless at this unexpected welcome. I was expecting a stony-faced man who served as my father's assistant and butler to be the one to greet me. The girl tilted her head like wondering at the reason for my hesitation. You are Master Shiki, aren't you? Yes, though you don't have to call me Master. I knew it! Please don't scare me like that. I thought I had messed up again. The girl wagged her finger like a mother admonishing her child. She seemed genuinely upset with me for having worried her. Yet even so, her smile never fades, nor does the warmth emanating from her. An apron draped over her kimono. Coming to greet me and calling me master. That must mean... Excuse me, are you a housekeeper here by any chance? The girl answered my question with a smile. I'm sure you're tired. Please come in. Feel free to have rest in the parlor until Mistress Akiha is available. The girl motioned for me to follow her and began walking. We moved towards the hallway on the east side of the lobby, next to the giant staircase. I seem to remember that the parlor is just inside a hallway. I follow her quietly, call out to her and ask her name. Get the urge to explore. I'm calling out to her to ask her name. I decide to call out to her and ask her name. I can't just be calling her Miss Housekeeper the whole time. Excuse me, can I ask your name? Sorry, I'm still trying to get my bearings. I call out to her. The kimono-clad girl looked at me surprised. My name is Kohaku. I asked as Mr. Saki had personal attendant. The girl Kohaku gave a slight bow and a smile. It's a lovely, kind gesture, somehow evocative of a bud blooming into a flower. The girl lead me to the parlor. The parlor looks so much fancier compared to what I remember. It's like seeing it for the first time. Either I'm just too used to how things were with the Arima's family, or they made this room even more extravagant since I was last here. Regardless, this place feels like someone else's home. I look around the parlor restlessly. You look like a stray kitten. I know how you feel, but please try to sit back and relax. This is your home after all. Yeah, you're right. Flustered, I lower myself onto the sofa. It's pathetic how overwhelmed I become from simply returning home. The kimono-clad girl makes her way onto a cart in the corner of the room and pours a cup of tea from it. She poured a cup on a tray and carries it over to me. Here, have some tea. Thanks. I can't help but feel a sense of embarrassment being waited on with such a warm smile. I think that's just who I am, rather than something that comes from living with a more modest family. I'll go check on Mr. Saki's house. Please wait here. Actually, it should take about 10 minutes, so please feel free to have a look around the mansion if you like. Is it really okay for me to just wander around? This is your house too, you know. Please, by all means. So you won't be able to go up to the second floor while Mr. Saki is there. The first floor should be fine, however. I'm sure you must be over the moon to be back after 7 years. She smiled mischievously. Please excuse me, Kohaku gives a slight bow and leaves the room. Well, now what? My muttering echoes sadly through the extravagant parlor. Do I stay here sitting nervously, or do I take a look around the mansion? I think I'll wait here. I think I'll stretch my legs. Why not explore? 10 minutes, huh? 10 minutes, huh? Maybe I'll take a look around if I have that much time. I should take a look around the east wing at the very least. I need to walk off some of these nerves anyway. I rise up from the couch. I think I remember the rec room had a billiard table and a dartboard in the west wing. You play billiard and dartboard? Dartboard? Oh, I thought I stopped by before I returned. I didn't realize they were expecting a guest. A voice called out the moment I stepped into the lobby. I turned to the giant staircase to find... Who the frick are you? A strange man dressed head to toe in the black. Hello there, Shiki. Welcome to the Tohno mansion. Oh, but I suppose in your situation, I should be welcoming you home. The man who, based on his voice, I assume is in his 30s, descended the stairs calmly. There's not a trace of color on him. His entire body is wrapped in black bandages. He looks like he stepped straight out of a mystery novel. And you are... Do you not remember me? I see. It's I, Goto Saki. We met a number of times when you were a child, but I'm not surprised you don't recognize me. Saki? Was there a branch family with that name? More importantly, this man... It's alright, I'm quite used to the strange looks. I was born in an accident. I have a difficult time going outside without these bandages. The sun is harsh on your skin, you know. You see. It's harsh on my skin, you see. I cannot find my presence disturbing as well, Though it is understandable, she is partially responsible after all. Goto's psyche gives a self-deprecating laugh as he lifts his left hand up to shade his eye. The glare from the skylight must be too bright for him. I have to say, I am surprised you had the audacity to come back here. Why, your circumstances, Shiki. Not only did you fail to follow Makihisa or to stay in the mansion, you ended up injuring yourself in that foolish accident. A failure. Yes, that's what you are. You ignore all obligation, waste every investment your parents put into you, and still you come back here to play big brother to Akira. Are you not ashamed of yourself? I resist the urge to confront him. The contempt in Goto's eyes is obvious, but there's no reason to escalate things further. Besides, he isn't wrong. Oh, nothing to say for yourself? No, what you say is true. I ignore my obligations. But don't feel any shame. Don't you feel any shame sprouting up off about our family like that? I chose my words as such precisely because this is your family. Education is nothing more than an investment into the future of one family. There is no such thing as freedom for those of noble blood. Freedom. No, perhaps we should call it self-awareness. One only had the right to it after learning the life to live for the family. You never understood your place compared to Akira. You are nothing. Though, perhaps I should commend you, as few would have the gall to show their face here again. Don't look so angry, Shiki. I'm merely stating an objective truth. I assure you, it's nothing personal. I seem to have confused you. I'm not against your return. If anything, I'm for it. Besides, it's a decision by the head of the family. An outsider like me has no right to complain. Isn't that right? An outsider? Isn't part of a branch family? The psyche in the Tohno house has been equal standing since my grandfather's time. In modern term, I suppose you can call us business partners. He finished discussing new arrangements today. The meeting lasted longer than expected, but it went well, so I was about to go home in a fabulous mood. But I won't darken your homecoming with my presence. Please excuse me. Huh. The bandaged man Goto Saki passes by me and walks towards the entrance, all while his lip curls into a sarcastic smile. I bite my lip thinking of the word Psyche used. Failure. He's right, the word describes my place in the house perfectly. Regardless, I go back to the parlor and calm down. I'll walk around later. I don't want to ruin my first meeting with Akira in 7 years by feeling like this. Interesting. Goto wasn't in the original Tsukihime, by the way. But I think the reason why Goto is here is not only to fill out the Tohno household, like to give it like this more prestigious feel, but so like in the original there is evidence of Shiki like feeling terrible about himself, like not. And we are told multiple times in the story that people aren't very accepting of him. Now we have like direct people to look at that aren't accepting of Shiki. Excuse me. The girl returned exactly 10 minutes later. It's something the matter, Master Shiki. She must be able to tell that Goto's psyche words has affected me.